Hi, welcome to Bookwood. It's cold. Let's go inside. Come in.
I'm glad you chose to spend some time reading with me. I'll be reading for the French challenge Petit, mois, petites lectures. The idea is to read in this shortest month of the year the shortest books on our wanting to read list. I picked 6 books for my TBR. If you want to see the complete list of them, you can find it in my February reading journal setup. The first book I'll be reading for this challenge is La péninsule aux 24 saisons by Inaba Mayumi. I saw this book on the new editions shelf of my library and I was attracted by the cover and completely sold when I discovered this is one of these observing, calm Japanese novels, or at least that's what I understood for the blurb. I am so ready to dive into this. Welcome in the room of Niklas and Naoki, my 2 sons with who I read a lot of books from this wonderful story collection. Tonight we start the story, I think translated freely, of Dr. Dolittle, which is a story about a veterinarian, but I don't know much more about it. So we read a story like this regularly. This story is perfect for the reading challenge Petit, mois, petites lectures, since it is a very short one of only 180 pages. Vous êtes prêts les garçons?
Yes.
Alors, l'histoire du docteur Dolittle. T'es sûr que tu veux pas venir, Megrine?
Non.
Il y a déjà une image. So we have, all through the story, we have very nice images like this one. Welcome back. It is Monday morning, way later than I hoped to get back to you, which I hoped to do when I was in the midst of this book I started last time we met. But unfortunately it seems almost impossible to have like 5 minutes of quiet to film something over the weekend. So I think we'll often meet on Monday mornings. And so I want to start by talking about this book because I finished it now and I am very glad I read La péninsule aux 24 saisons by Inaba Mayumi. It was exactly what I expected, a very observing and calm Japanese slice of life in which we follow this lady, we don't know her name, that takes a 1-year break from her life in Tokyo and goes spend it on a peninsula where she has a secondary home, and she goes there and just lives the life, just does what she feels like doing, and we follow her along in all those things. And what it makes this book special is that a stream of consciousness, and we just are in the head of this lady. And we just pick up at a point where she's doing something or thinking of something, and from there for a whole chapter. We glide on her thoughts and we get to see some of her memories and some of the events that she has been going through, how that she got to have this house, why she came to this house, who her neighbors are, how she get to know them. And during all this period we see how she finds a balance and a calm inside of her, and how she somehow gives a new meaning to her life, and how she transitions from maybe this very active working life to a still active but more retirement or living life, and how she everything she feels going to that. I also started this weekend and finished it at the same almost the same moment. This book, it is terrible, L'enfant, la jeune fille et la sorcière by Gaël Henry. This is a graphic novel, and it has not been translated to English. This is from a French author, and in this graphic novel we are following Anna and her little brother Noé that she has to babysit against her will on a walk to the forest, where Anna slightly loses sight of her brother whilst meeting up with her boyfriend. And when she realizes that her brother has disappeared, she does everything to find him back, and she enters this cave in which he must have entered, and through it arrives in another world. A world populated by the characters of the Russian folklore like Baba Yaga. And she will be helped by these creatures or will be blocked by them in the search for her brother. I was very excited about this graphic novel, and this is something very rare because graphic novels are not my favorite books. I tend to not enjoy them as much, but I saw an announcement for this one on Le Souffle des mots. I always tend to highly enjoy the books I spot on this channel, and what interested me the most in this book was the fact that it was slightly based on Russian folklore. Again, I got so disappointed by graphic. Even if it was an enjoyable read, I always feel I get to know the characters not well enough. Also, I had to look up who these were in the Slavic mythology because I had no clue. And once I did, I found that it was more comprehensible. I really liked the ending, but I think that at some point there were some sexual or gory scenes that were not needed. But still, a nice read after all. We are about to start another book, but this time an audiobook. So I grabbed my Audible app. We are going to read The Bear by Andrew Krivak. I found this in the included books on Audible. It's a novella that's about 4 hours of listening about a girl and her dad living in a dystopian world. There is not much that I can tell you about it before starting, but I'm going to start this book and listen to it while I do some kitchen cleaning. Non, tu peux pas, mon petit. Non, tu peux pas, mon petit. Non, tu peux pas. Non, tu peux pas. Non, tu peux pas. So, yesterday I started The Bear by Andrew Krivak. Gonna check because I can't remember. Andrew Krivak, indeed. So, yesterday I started to listen to The Bear by Andrew Krivak while I was doing some household chores. And I finished this book. And I thought it would be great to give you a little bit update because I went into this story quite blind, not knowing what exactly it was about, and this was such a magical read. We follow again a father and his daughter of whom we don't know the name, but we know that they are the only humans that are roaming this earth, or at least as far as they know. Something has happened, but we don't really know what. We will start following them when the girl is still quite young, and when her father slowly starts to talk about her mother who died not long after giving birth to her. We will just follow their peaceful daily life in which they try to survive in quite an ancient way, hunting, gathering, and creating what they need. One day they go on a trip to a place that used to hold a village or a city. We don't know exactly, but the father says that when he came there with his dad, there were at least still walls standing and that there now is nothing. But they came here to see if they could find anything that would be handy. Unfortunately, her father gets ill and he dies. And right after that, the girl meets a bear. And this bear talks to her. So she communicates with him and they go together on the way back. They start together the way back to her home where she wants to go bury her father next to her mother. With the bear, she will travel and they will be running into winter, so she travels with the bear, and when winter comes, the bear finds them a cave where he goes to hibernate and where she settles in to survive the winter. At the start, she gets a little help from a puma, who also talks to her. And he will give her some tips to survive in this cold. And after winter, they will continue the road to home, where our girl buries her father and settles in. Unfortunately, she has to part ways with the bear because the bear isn't made to live in that part of the world, and also the bear is made to wander around. Once the girl settles in, we do make a huge jump in time where we will meet her when she's very old and will witness her passing away, followed up by a bear that was told to come there and bury her with her parents, which was a nice magical ending to this book. It is a simple story. It has no big events or great emotions. It is like this little stream flowing and turning around, and it is very calming to follow it around. It was very magical in the way of the connection with nature and the observing of it. I really enjoyed listening to this book. Whilst being around, it did bring some calm to the day. Since I had no physical book going on, I also started a new one, and I started this one, and in English it's called The Hole, in French it's called Le Jardin, the garden, which is quite interesting, by Hae Yoon Pyung, and I hope I said this right, because this is a Korean author. If you have watched my February reading journal setup and my pile of possibilities for Petit, mois, petites lectures, then you notice that this book wasn't on this pile. Later on, I got notified by a mini challenge for the 52 book club reading challenge, and for that one, all themed around the Lunar New Year. The only prompt I couldn't fulfill with my pile of possibilities was to read a story set or written by an author in one of the countries celebrating the Lunar New Year: China, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Korea. So I went looking for a book that could fit this challenge, but also the Petit, mois, petites lectures challenge, and I found this book, described as horror, but in my library it was put on the thriller section. So we'll see. In this book we follow Ogi, I also hope I pronounced that right, who we meet when he wakes up from a coma, and with him we discover that he's paralyzed and that his whole face has so much been damaged that he's unable to talk. Ogi had been in a car accident that unfortunately took the life of his very beloved wife. We will learn a little bit more about this accident, and what I found very touching is that it is not put off on like a drunk driver or someone who hits their car some way. It was not put off on a defect in the car mechanisms. No, Ogi takes full responsibility. I was driving too fast, especially for the rainy weather. I was not keeping enough distance, and I am the one who caused this to happen. What is quite strange is that from the start at his bed we found his mother-in-law, or to me it is strange, it would not be happening like this in Belgium. Ogi has no family left, and so his mother-in-law got to be his tutor. And at this point we have left the hospital and we are at his home. And if I read the blurb, then I learned that this is where the most strange things are going to happen. This is where his mother-in-law will basically just ignore the re-education needs of her son-in-law, and that she will get obsessed by digging a hole in the garden of the house that his deceased wife was taking care of and at a whole project for. So I am almost halfway through, and for now I am really enjoying this read. So I will be doing some chores like every day, and I hope to finish soon so I can go back into this read. Hi, so this is a last update for this first vlog. We are Friday night 14th, so this video will hopefully be there tomorrow. And I wanted to tell you that I finished The Hole, or Le Jardin by Hei Young-pyung. I really enjoyed this book. It is very difficult to resume the second half where we left off without spoiling anything, because that's when very slowly we get the information but also the build-up for the story. I thought it was having the right amount of suspense and of oppressing feeling, and even if it's quite clear quickly why there is this hole being dug, I really think that the end is surprising. I really recommend this book. The boys and I are also still reading the story of Dr. Dolittle by, and I forgot again, I'm not good with names, Hugh Lofting. And I'm gonna try to show you, because I noticed it doesn't show very well. So this is a very nice little hardback, how does this work? Hardback cover, and it has this gold foiling, so it is very, very shiny. And so we are still reading this. This will be finished like in the end of the month. It's the first time that Niklas really is that invested in a read, and he is a little bit jealous of the doctor's ability to talk with animals. I think he would like to have the same. And Naoki is a little bit less invested than he used to be in other reads from this series or this collection. I think we have a little too few action for him. So in this vlog we have read like half of my physical pile for Petit, mois, petites lectures, and there will be a second vlog with the other books for it. This vlog will unfortunately not come out like Blends and February, so that will be probably 1st of March because of this short month, but it will come out around the 10th of March, because I discovered on the late that there is something called the Romanticiathon, and this readathon seems like so much fun that I have chosen to participate in it, and there will be a vlog for this week-long readathon then on the end of the month. So I'm wondering in what readathons you are taking part, or which challenges you are doing this month. So I hope you tell me about them in the comments so we can chat about that. See you soon!